All right, ready to go? Let's see. YouTube, it looks like it's live. All right. All right, let's do this. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Gorilla KHODDcast, and this is a special New Year's episode. Not only are we doing our 13th episode, but this is also our 100th episode of WROL Broadcasts. And we'd like to welcome in the new year by wrapping up the things for 2019 in December. And today on the show, we have Hate and Kage. Say hi, guys.
Oop.
Hey.
Yeah,
That's
so
our hangover hello.
yeah, so if you kind of hear the tone of our voices, I'm not sure if you guys can hear from mine, but I have a bit of a sore throat and everyone's kind of a bit under the weather. So please bear with us. So today we have a few things on the agenda, and we'll try and go over some things for the upcoming new year at the end of the show, as well as some talking points. Sorry, some Q&A at the end of the show from people who are here live on Discord and on YouTube. So let's get to the agenda. So let's see. The first thing on the agenda is, let's see here. Yeah, you wrote something in here. Hey, what are we going to talk
I
about?
just added a couple little things.
Okay.
I just thought since we rarely ever talk about the real world, maybe talk about what we've done the last couple weeks for the holidays. And
Sure. So you want to take it away then? It was your idea. You start.
okay, well, I did some North Carolina travel, which it was 60 degrees in North Carolina, so I didn't get to do any skiing, so I wasn't happy about that. But I did get an Oculus Rift for Christmas, so
Oh,
I've
nice.
been. Oh, that thing is so awesome. It's the only thing that might temper my DCL play a little bit because it is just beyond your wildest. I mean, it's just crazy. I love it. Oculus Quest, not Rift. I
Oculus and
don't
Quest.
know where I
Okay.
got Rift Pro. Yeah, but the thing is awesome. The hype that you hear about it lives up to it. Doesn't it's fully? It doesn't have to be plugged into anything. It's full 3D. Like when you play games, it creeps the crap out of you.
All right.
I just downloaded this new zombie game, and when you first go into the world, the characters they're so close to you, and the way they do the vibration on the controllers, it makes it feel like you're touching things. So like if somebody grabs your hand or does different things, and then the helmet will vibrate as well. So like when you get hit by monsters, it seems like you're actually getting hit. It's so good.
That sounds cool. All right. So Kage, what'd you do for the last couple of weeks?
Just working, man. Go to the gym, making gains. I'm just hanging out with life, you know,
Yeah.
just strolling through, man. Yep. You go it. Your turn.
All right. For me, I've been moving into a new place here in Toronto. After I've been back here, my wife's moved back here beginning of December, and then yeah, we've moved into a new place, and we had a lot of like going back and forth to like IKEA, like Bath, Bath and Beyond, or Bed Bath and Beyond, and all that fun stuff, that house stuff. Uh, I'm literally on the floor with my laptop right now because I don't have a computer desk yet. So I'm using my TV as a second monitor too. So it's a bit awkward right now. But furniture's starting to trickle in. Everything's getting settled in. So hopefully, uh, I'll be good to go soon. Like with a decent setup. And I did see like, hey, you have like a really nice podcasting setup going on, right?
I did. I have a game room in my house that we don't really. We have a gym in here and a bunch of other stuff. It's like an old garage that was converted into a room before whoever owned the house before it added another garage,
Okay.
and so it's just huge room that there's just not. I play Xbox in here and stuff, but I didn't have any other use for it. So I was like, you know what, this would make a really nice podcasting room because I got tired of having um, to move my laptop into this room to
Yeah.
record and then move my laptop back into my home office. So I just moved everything into here and have multiple monitors, and I have external hard drives I bought. So I do need to get an SSD drive because I bought a 2 terabyte little external drive and it is so freaking slow. So when I'm
Yeah.
moving videos to the folder, it takes forever.
Yeah. So basically, once you get an SSD, especially if you load like Windows or any operating system onto it, you really can't ever go back. So I have my main computer with the SSD. All the main stuff is loaded on the SSD. I have a backup hard drive to store all the extra stuff on. So yeah, but yeah, that you can't really question the difference between SSD and HDD. So all right, anyways, let's get into the actual DCL talk. So on the agenda today, we have a few things to talk about. We have some shop talk. We have the December characters. We're going to go over Joker's monthly CC poll, talk about the Siege, talk about the January characters, and then going on to what we expect for the New Year's, and then some other topics too. So let's jump into the shop talk. So we had the 12 Days of Christmas at the beginning of December, and then we also had the thing that dropped yesterday for today or yesterday, yeah, for New Year's. We have the 5 day streak. So we'll start with that since it's the most recent one. We started with 250 energy, and then it looks like a bunch of gems. I think I counted the total as like 4,000 gems. Is that right?
I think that is.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about that?
I know you're the math guy.
What do you guys? Yeah.
Well, if you're a free to play player, you should be. This is the best time of your life right now. You got so many gems. You can buy so much stuff now. I don't understand why people aren't just upgrading characters now. So yeah,
The Wraith
you
Arena.
got gems.
That's why nobody
Right?
upgrades their characters. Well, I know I saw a Reddit post a guy who had originally put a big complaint about how there was no raids this month and how, Warner Brother owes them, which is kind of strange to me that Warner Brother owes them for not having raids. But he kind of posted an apology saying that there was you got so many gems that it actually was more than you would have got the raids. So they've been very generous in the last several months with just gems, with stuff, with when they make mistakes, the apologies have been really good. So I gotta say they've really stepped up their game with that kind of stuff. They've done a pretty good job. Red alerts have been upgraded and are a lot cheaper.
That took a while, but
it's been
finally
really good.
Yeah, we're getting Etrigan, Power Girl, and White Lantern.
Yeah, right.
And Red Alerts. Like these are top tier characters, and they're just doing it out. Like really?
I'm kind of sour because the other time Etrigan was in the shop, I think I bought enough packs to take him RB1. Had I done this, I wouldn't have done that. So, but whatever.
That Etrigan wasn't very good.
Yeah, apparently he's not that great. Anyways, what'd you guys think about the 12 Days of Christmas? Anything that stood out to you, negative or positive? And I think like mainly negative is what people talked about.
Started off bad, but ended good.
So what was like the big negative thing? I kind of forget now.
They were just really boring sales.
Some of the sales were worse than they would normally be priced in the shop normally.
Remember that 9,000?
Yeah, that was like
that 9,000 gems for
that
one rebirth crystal.
That was insanity.
It was like
I don't know anyone who bought that.
It was like a bunch of like random
There are a few
resources.
people.
It was like a bunch of random resources which were like didn't really add up well, and then they threw in like a rebirth crystal, right?
Yeah.
It was like 2,000 gems worth of resources.
Yeah.
No, Lou didn't buy it. SBO. Even Ballsy didn't buy it.
There was a Russian guy that bought all of it and took his Winter Girl to Rebirth 5.
Oh, yeah, but he's crazy. But there was probably like 4 people that bought it. So
yeah,
that's how we know when a sale's bad. When owls don't bite on rebirth tokens, that's when it's bad.
Yeah. All right. So, in terms of the what did it end on? It ended up on Manta, right? Manta was the giveaway.
Yeah,
that was all right.
It was like 1. Yeah, the last couple of days were really good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Red Rangers one, the second day one, that was good.
Red Robin, Red Hood, that was a good one.
That was a good one. Those are really 2 hard to get characters, and they're both top tier characters. So that was great. All right. So in terms of the 12 Days of Christmas, compared to the last few years, it hasn't been amazing, but it's not terrible, I guess. It's just like on par so far. I can't remember which year was like the best though. We've had like some really good years.
I think the sales have changed. Things are better than they used to be. The best
Yeah.
one is like M4 is saying in chat now, the $5 for 5,000 gems
Yeah.
5 times.
Yeah. I remember
I beat
that.
that.
Yeah, that was like the one time most of the like strict free to play players would break that just for that one time, because it's such a good deal. It's like, what? I think it's 1/5 the cost.
25,000 gems for 25 bucks.
Yeah, yeah. So you can't go wrong with that. Alrighty, so let's move on from the shop talk. Let's get into the December characters. So what do we think about Owlman, Ultraman, and Joker, and the new sexy Lexi? So let's start with the two new characters. What do you think, Kate?
Owlman and Ultraman, they're okay. And Ultraman's a little more fun, I think, than Owlman. I'm kind of disappointed in Owlman. He wasn't. I thought he was gonna be great. He was not really the Steppenwolf light that I thought he was gonna be. He's good. He's just not great. They're kind of medium level characters. You'll see them for kind of niche teams where people just want to have fun. Ultraman, I think, might have a little bit more later on. You might see more of him depending on how the meta shifts. But there's just so many good greens, and there's no particular reason to bring him over other characters. So you're not going to see him. I don't think you'll see him gain a ton of prevalence, but he's a solid character for people like Joker who want to run villains. He's pretty solid. He does some good things. I think if there's eventually like a debuff meta that forms, he'll probably be the natural counter to it, or part of it anyway. Be a better options like Hal and Wonder Woman, Princess. So I'm not sure how much prominence he'll gain, but maybe we'll see.
All
Maybe
right,
if disease gets even crazier.
Kage, what do you think about the new characters?
I actually find Owlman to be pretty fun. Ultraman, not bad. I still think they're both, yeah, like how you said, they're both medium level characters. B, low A. Well, A is probably stretching it now that I think about it, but they're not bad characters. They're pretty much on par with what we've had all year as far as new character goes. And what's interesting to me is that the reworks have been consistently better than the new characters. So I wonder if
Maybe that's
Warner
a
Brothers.
conspiracy theory. They release them as a B and then rework them to be stronger. So
Yeah,
they
that's what I'm
have
thinking.
characters to rework down the road.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It gives the game like some long term power in the long run. So yeah, the reworks have been great. But yeah, we're not talking about the reworks, right? You go ahead, DP.
All right. I mean, yeah. Let's talk about the. Well, I'll give my piece on Ultraman. I haven't really played with Owlman because he's one of my slower gears. I went straight to like gear 11 with Ultraman because that's what I do with Superman characters. But Ultraman, the thing I do like about him is that he reminds me a lot of like Supergirl that spreads the buff or the. Sorry, he gives buff immunity, whereas Supergirl does heal immunity, but it's like an AOE, right? So I think the only other character in the game that can do that is Star Sapphire. Is that right? I'm thinking, yeah. So that one move is quite like it can be game breaking depending on like what team you're going up against. So actually, yeah, people are saying Star Sapphire only applies one buff immunity. Yeah.
I think it's Shazam Jr. can do it, but it's gated.
Oh, okay. All right. So, anyways, he's consistently able to put it on. So he's the only one character in the game that can do that. So there you go. So that is an ability that makes him quite unique. And like you said about the villains theme thing, because he gives bonuses if you have more villains on your team. So that's good too. And I mean, overall, he does decent damage. He's not like super like pew pew as some other characters, but he's decent pew pew. He's not like super tanky, but then he's taunting, like the taunting, and then like getting all those mends. So he can survive. He can sustain. He just needs to make sure he gets more than one turn. So it actually is easy to take him out like right off the bat, but it's not like once he gets rolling, he could probably like last the whole game if you're still alive. So yeah, I like him. He's a good character, but as you guys saying, he's kind of niche. Owlman, from whatever like all what you guys are saying and what most people are saying, he's kind of like here and there. He does decent damage, but he's not like amazing, right? So we'll see. Maybe.
He's not really there for damage. He's more utility to give crit. To give the problem is his 3 misses. That's my biggest complaint about him.
I see.
If his there's no, it doesn't do you any good if somebody else misses and then he attacks with a 3 because then he'll miss too.
Yeah. M4 is saying that Ultraman is kind of a counter character, and yeah, he's like the best counter to the Riddler, because and also
Which is desperately needed.
and he's also a great way to deal with Man-Bat, because like Man-Bat puts all the diseases and you throw them back at them, right? So that's great too. All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes for the characters this month. So Joker and Sexy Lexi. So Kage, what'd you think?
They're amazing. I think Lex stole the show, obviously, but Joker, don't sleep on him because he's got a very good kit. He goes very well with all the special damage characters. You don't even have to run him on a bleed team per se. He's got a little more variety. You can run him on rage teams or run him on special damage teams. So I think he's right up your alley, DP. So I think he's really fun. I just use him every now and then. As far as Lex goes, he's we kind of saw him as a meta character as soon as he dropped on day one, just because of how game breaking his overheals are. But that's great because Hal Jordan's out of the picture, so now we're seeing a lot more leader diversity. The only problem is you're seeing a lot more just generic Wonder Girl, Don Troy comps. So with Hal Jordan, it's just Wonder Girl, Donna Troy, Man Bat, and then Lex is huge Castaway, Wonder Girl, Donna Troy. It's just some variation of just those two plus those two Green Lanterns plus a Broken Red.
Still
So
sometimes see Wonder Girl, MJ a lot.
yeah,
You still see that.
sometimes I see a lot of Hal, Power Girl, Harley, and Wonder Girl. So
Yeah, I see a lot of that actually. A lot of that.
yeah. So on the one hand, it's like, dude, can you be a little more original, please? And on the other hand, it's like, okay, these combination of characters is pretty busted, and you can just run it on auto. So I can understand the appeal to running these comps, but people people are gonna do weird things.
Yeah.
People are always going to use what the most effective team is.
Right. So, hey, what do you think about Joker and Sexy Lexi?
I really like Joker. They did a good job with him. He's a true glass cannon. I find myself using him fairly frequently, especially to nuke down the. Like, he's really good at taking out Donna Troy. So if you can get the intellect ups, a couple intellect downs, and then use his big attack, you can one shot her pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Not many characters can. And then Lex, of course. My only complaint about Lex is he does make it like the game, and we talked about this in the tier list, which will be coming out in a couple days. The he's really good, but he's kind of boring good, like M4 saying in chat. Because basically, if you go first, you win. So, and you can beat just about any team. We're kind of turning into a speed crit meta like we were at the end of Gear 10. So I know most people do not want to see Gear 12, but I almost kind of feel like we're building up to it at this point. The game's becoming a little more generous. We're getting to where everybody can one-shot everybody again, and you're going to have to take that next step again.
Yeah, but at the same
Chapter
time,
9 and everything else that comes with it.
at the same time, like if they were releasing a lot of like tanks. Sorry, at the end of this year, I guess. Well, actually, mid this year, end of this year.
They're either going to have to do some kind of tank meta, but and like Tuditron's saying it's not generous enough to go Gear 12. That's true, but if there's Chapter 9 and a bunch of other stuff that comes with it, then it wouldn't be that bad. I mean, the game has to progress. Like, everybody's fighting this Gear 12, but it will have to eventually progress to the next step. We need more content first. We need content that Gear 11, you need to be Gear 11 for first.
You need content to justify Rebirth.
Yeah.
Basically,
Rebirth, Gear. I mean, we don't even have Gear 11 content yet, so it's got. But I feel like we're building towards it. I could be completely wrong, but
So basically, if we get like a couple more chapters, that will give us more, let's say level 5, access to level 5 XP beta or meta agents, then we have a consistent way of farming XP, and then we'll be able to get up there, right? So then once we get to that point, then they're like, all right, let's open the gate to Gear 12.
Well,
I mean,
here's the thing. It costs like 8K gems to farm gear from 0 to gear 11. So the game gives you like 12K, actually 20K login gems per month if you're like really smart about it. Because you got the blitzes, you got the login bonuses, you got the um, raids, you got a lot of extra stuff. So there's really no reason to take one or two characters to gear 11 per month with what the game gives you.
Right.
And then there's usually, you don't need those characters every month. I mean, you could really gear 8 to 10 characters and accomplish anything and everything in the game, no problem.
Yeah, we exposed on the Wraith Abuser account. Like you only need like a handful of characters to be competitive in PvP. So I don't
Just
understand.
competitive, the number one in PvP. So.
Yeah, so I don't understand what the whole why people are holding back. What the hesitancy is. I've seen Gear 10 players like stock up 100K gems. You're not doing anything with it, and they just ask, "Oh, is this character worth it? Is this character worth it?" And you're like, "Dude, you got 100K gems. What are you sweating for?" You know?
Alrighty. I mean, okay. Let's move on to other topics here, since we'll have a couple of things to go through. So, Joker, as he does at the end of every month, he does a poll in the community center about characters we'd like to see in game. And this time around, for the end
I
of
think he's
December,
gonna come on Friday. He's gonna do an episode on Friday to go through this. So yeah, let's
oh,
skip that.
I will skip it. All right. Well, okay. Tune in to that
So I
episode
just looked
later,
in chat.
and then yeah, there you go. And we'll talk about that later. All right. Okay. So I guess we'll move on to the Ultraman Siege. I'm gonna step away and get a glass of water for a second, but then while I do that, I'll just hand it off to Hate, I guess, first. So give us your thoughts on the Ultraman Siege.
Well, first I want to congratulate Loot for taking World's Finest, mainly because Kage quit. So right at the end, but Kage almost became the first sandbagger to win. I hate to say this, Kage, but I was rooting for Loot because I didn't want to see a sandbagger win. But I'll let you talk on your strategy and how that went for you, because I
Uh,
did very poorly this siege. This was not a good siege for me.
yeah, I got a lot of. Well, I started off with really good RNG. It was just a lot of easy 20-point comps, and then my strategy was looking at the other team and then thinking, all right, so what are 10 possible options that the AI can do? And then what are my options? And I really had to be methodical. Just like Lou, we both had to take notes on what the enemy could do and then what the enemy was likely to do. And then just, at some point, you just got to bite the bullet and then just run your team. And then that's what made Siege really fun, was just the anticipation, like, oh, is this RNG going to screw me? Like, hey, what's the worst case scenario? Like in some instances, Wally West on the enemy team would survive, cheat death, and then come back and one shot your Owlman, and then the enemy Black Adam or Etrigan would go crazy, and you'd die. So you kind of that was just the whole thing, is just planning out every single attack, and after 2 weeks, you get really burned out from the game.
That final week is the tough one. The third week.
Yeah, it really is like a marathon, because it takes a toll on you mentally too, because once you're at the top brackets of Siege, for me personally, I'm like going to sleep and I'm dreaming about PvP, and I wake up, I'm thinking about PvP, I log in, like, oh, am I still number one? Am I number two? When's my Siege energy come back? So it's a thrill ride. I don't know if I'd go back for it.
Do it every month. Some months I'm more serious about it, and other months, like this month, I gave up, and then I was like, well, maybe I'm still in the race, and then I realized I wasn't. And then I rebirth 5'd my Flash just to annoy everybody. Which I still go back and forth whether I like that decision or not. But he is fun. I mean, he's fun to bust out. He doesn't fit a lot of my comps, so sometimes go
Yeah,
back and forth on whether I like it. But who
I
else was
mean,
I gonna do?
you got 50 more rebirth tokens to get this year, so I mean, it don't matter.
50 more this month, probably. So
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I think this siege
between
was
raids and everything else.
this siege was really fun for me because I had a lot of special characters or special damage characters to play with. That was fun. So, but what do you guys think about like the like? Did anyone actually try Ultraman before before the siege ended? Like in the siege,
Yeah, Loot had him, Legendary 1.
was he like making a big difference?
He seemed like it. He said it did a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so it's an extra 2 points, and let's say over the course of 2.5 weeks that you're using him, that other players aren't using him. Over the course of because Lou only beat me by what 20, 40 points. So those 2 points adds up. So you really want to use as many bonus characters as you can throughout Siege.
Yeah, having another energy character that may, if they're a physical heavy team, it allows you to use another energy character that you may not have been able to use. That's where the advantage is, not so much that he's
I mean, it also depends
going to
on
give you
how.
much of an advantage
It also
himself
depends on
at
how
Legendary 1.
high, yeah, how high you got your Ultraman too. Because depending on what legendary you take, because I saw that there are some team compositions that are like decent because there's a lot of villains. Because there was like the characters you see a lot were Black Adam and Joker and Etrigan and so on. But Etrigan's not a villain, but you could build a team almost exclusively villains in Siege, and have that. Like it would be a great way to just like neuter like disease bleed teams because there was Siren and stuff too, right? So
Yeah, but you never saw Siren. It was all about speed.
yeah, it was. People just
Speed and nukes
because
in this one.
yeah, because people just wanted to win and didn't care too much about the bonus points. I felt.
No, I mean, it was all bonus teams. Well, it's 3 bonus tunes almost every match in the top 10. And, but sometimes having that extra energy character would allow you to play a 4-man team where you couldn't
Right.
in other sieges, or you couldn't in this particular siege. I felt like the siege had a lot more RNG than usual too, in like depending on the team. I mean, sometimes it didn't matter, but that like Kage said, where Iron Flash Wally would get his stupid evasions and then nuke your Owlman. That happened to me like every match.
Right.
He always had stupid evasions. I couldn't hit him, and then he would nuke down my physical character. But that's my RNG, so that's why this siege was not for me. So,
Alrighty. I guess we'll get into the next thing then. So let's talk about the meat and potatoes for January. So we are looking at the characters that have just come out today, I guess. Parallax and Saint Walker are our new characters, and Yellow Lantern, Sinestro, and Arcus are our reworks. So a lot of Lanterns fans are rejoicing, and if you guys heard the episode we had with probably like the biggest Lantern fans that the DCL community has on our last show, that was
we did forget Lord Moliton. He was
Oh.
very upset, so we're going to try to make sure we get him on this month. So,
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get his input a little bit later then. So then, let's talk about what we are expecting from the 2 new characters, Parallax and Saint Walker. Kage, why don't you start?
From early footage, Saint Walker looks pretty good. He'll make your team a lot better. I think I'm predicting S tier, or at least S minus on this guy, maybe A+ at the very least. Still not impressed with Parallax. He'll benefit from enraged teams, obviously, but I can't see him being a meta player. He'll probably be like a C or B tier at best. So I'm not too excited for him. He doesn't really fit my play style. I'm not really interested in the character. I was hoping Saint Walker would make Jessica Cruz a big hitter, but unfortunately, she's been power corrupt. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to upgrading Saint Walker and just playing with him.
All right. Hey, what do you think?
If you hadn't seen about little less than maybe a little over an hour ago, I posted the animations, and then I also included some footage from Du Bois, which he has both characters Legendary 2 already, because he's a Lantern Maniac, and he's going to take Saint Walker Rebirth 5 tomorrow, is it? Thursday?
Oh
Yeah.
God.
He's buying enough packs to go over RB5, so he's a maniac, but he's a Lantern insane. So Anyway, Saint Walker looks amazing. He's going to be extremely good. He's got a really good kit on top of that 20% stat boost. So being able to take your characters, RB2 if they're from Legendary 5 or RB7, that's just ridiculous. So if you haven't seen that video, it's on our YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. And then the animations, I was really impressed with. They have really cool animations. So it's sad that you don't really get to see them. I wish they would. I wish you could put it on the 2 times speed and see the animation still for when you want to see them. But that's okay. They still look pretty cool even outside of the normal. The cameras flipping around. But I'm not sure. Parallax, aka Daddy, as 2D-tron wants to call him.
I don't have a finish for guys like that, so I mean, you do what you want to do, buddy.
Maybe we'll spread the name just because it's funny. But the he doesn't look too bad actually. I think he might be okay. He's gonna need his full kit though. We need Legendary 5, so to give him a true. I'm a little surprised Saint Walker wasn't the paywall, but I guess the freebie character technically is the bigger paywall. I don't know. I'm really not sure, but
all right, so
he might be good. We'll see.
I'm expecting him to be great. Now the thing is, for me, like I'm almost all special damage, but then like I think my subcategory after that would probably be lanterns. But everyone was talking about like the Arcus, how like Arcus is probably gonna like outshine everybody here. Do you think that Arcus is gonna like be a bigger news than Saint Walker? You think?
Oh, so Arcus is. I mean, he's plug and play, but he's still. You can. I mean, I guess you could build a team around him, but he's not going to do it by himself. You need a Saint Walker, or you need Red Robin or somebody to get him going because he is slow and he's easily removed and he's somewhat squishy. So you have to give him protection. You have to build around him. I mean, you can include him on the team. I mean, in the video, Du Bois I think he only has him out 5. I don't think he has him rebirth yet. But I mean, he just with that 20% extra, he's a wrecking machine. But he needs the assistance. He needs the debuffs. The great thing about Saint Walker is he does so much. He does the debuffs. He gives you protection. He gives you the stat boost. So he brings so much to the table. Like Kage said, he's gonna probably be an S tier character.
Yeah. All right. So, what do we think about? Oh, so we know that Arcus is going to be like decent, like at least decently plug and play, but we have to build around him. Saint Walker might steal the show. Where does Parallax is kind of like on the fence, right? Where do we feel?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, go ahead.
An enraging green character that likes buffs. So I mean, it's just extremely dangerous against 80% of the teams you face. Same thing with Yellow Lantern Sinestro. I've made Yellow Lantern Sinestro work. I've warmed up to him a little bit, but he's kind of a niche character. I don't think he's not going to be a character you're going to see everywhere. I don't think he's going to be one of those characters. If you like him and you want to use him, you'll be able to build teams that are effective with him. But he's not going to be a great character. I don't think.
I like the improvement to his damage because making him all special damage, making his bone saws like do more damage now. Like it's okay. Like the thing is, we need to build around the mechanic more. So we need to have more enraging characters that actively enrage, right? Because you guys were saying on the last podcast you were doing with the Lantern guys, we need active enragers. We don't have enough. We only have like a couple, right? So
they all passively do it, so it doesn't boost your characters that need it.
Or you have to reword that. Or yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. You're gonna have Saint Walker. I mean, there's a lot of really good lanterns, so you're probably not gonna want to use Yellow Lantern Sinestro or Daddy. So you're gonna have to.
Please don't call him Daddy. I refuse to call another man Daddy.
I just did that to annoy you.
No.
But Arcus, I mean, he's
any self-respecting
wrecking machine.
Hey, any self-respecting man does not refer to another man as that word. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
Yeah, maybe we'll call Kage Daddy since he's the STD machine, not.
The more you make me laugh, the more my throat's hurting. Anyways, all right. So Let's move on. Let's move on from the lanterns. All right, so we had a couple of things lined up for the end of the show. So let's see. We can do this in any order, I guess. We can talk about 2D topic about the leaders, and we can also talk about what we expect for 2020. What do you think is the best way to go about this? Maybe the leaders first. Anyone?
Let's do the leaders first. Yeah,
All
that's
right.
a good way to end the
So,
podcast.
well, okay. So, 2D was saying for this month, with all the good leaders we have coming out, um, how this would most likely improve the quality of the game. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Anyone?
I would say I do. I'm really pleased with how many good leaders there are because it keeps the game from getting stale. Because before we would just, for a little while there, it was just Hal Jordan everywhere. And before that, who was the big leader? I think it was Brainiac at one point forever.
No, Brainiac was never meta. It was just
Brainiac's always
Batgirl.
been meta. I don't know why you're such a Brainiac hater.
He's not meta. He's just, I don't know. How many times did you see him on a board? Like one
I
or two
used
times?
for prior to the Hal Jordan rework, he was my number one Rebirth character, and I used him on literally every single team.
You saw Batgirl on Atrocitus, like, oh, and
Yeah.
Deadshot, Hired Gun.
But now
Those-
there's a
those were the big
plethora of
three.
leaders.
Yeah.
With Red Hood's rework, I mean, I thought Red Hood was going to be like the leader, and then Lex happened, and he's still phenomenal, but he's not the number one choice. And then Hal's still extremely good. Batgirl's still good. I think Saint Walker is going to come in and be amazing. There's a lot of good choices for leaders.
I think if they
So-
rework the rates or the star system, White Lantern's in that show could be a meta level character.
And we still have Steppenwolf, who's still extremely good leader. I mean, there's a lot of really good leaders. And I complain about this all the time, is we need more turn zero taunters to diversify, so we don't just see Power Girl, MJ, and Donna Troy endlessly. Diversity in that.
I mean, if we had more turn zero taunters, you'd probably see less Sparta, less of the non-zero turn zero taunters.
I think they need to find a way to make it so that, I don't know, just make them all turn zero. Why do we have these half-ass taunters?
So I have this sort of like weird theory on like how good leaders create diversity in a way, but they also create, I guess, trends. Because what you're looking at right now is we have Sexy Lexi, we have Red Hood, and who are the other two? Like Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, and Batgirl, I guess, are like the four leaders you see a lot right now, right? Maybe would there be a fifth? I can't think of. Oh, and Deadshot Hired Gun. Sorry. So that's basically like sort of like rock paper scissors, Lizard Spock type of format you're looking at right now, right? So the thing is, like, you get the more diversity, quote unquote, you get with better leaders coming out, is that people tend to like try the new guys out. If they end up being good, like Lex, if they end up being good, like Red Hood, and so on and so forth, you don't really see people going towards other options. You kind of stick to like that like handful of leaders. So you do get diversity, you get more variety, but then people forget about the other leaders. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but the thing is if there was less of them, you would just see the same 2 or 3 like you see with the turn zero taunters right now.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like,
I think it's fine. I rarely use turn zero taunters.
Yeah, but the majority of the population does.
That's fine. That's on them.
anyways.
So like Lobo, turn zero taunter. He would be so good. Shazam, turn zero taunter. I would use him over Donna Troy in a lot of cases.
If you give Superman a turn zero taunt, he'd be broken. He'd be like
Bardo would be
S-tier
pretty
broken.
busted. I think Bardo would be pretty busted with.
There's
turn
some
zero.
non-turn zero taunters that don't really need it, but I think a larger number would just create more diversity. You'd see more leaders. It'd be fun.
Right. But then, like now, and then you think about it, characters that have, if you had more of those turn zero taunters or like non-turn zero taunters, it would raise the stock of characters like Ultraman, for example, who are able to put like all that buff immunity on everybody. So that's interesting to think.
Like Ultraman would be he would be a great character if he started with the taunt.
Yeah,
Same thing with Mr. Freeze.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Mr. Freeze would be like probably like at least A tier.
I don't know about Freeze because you can just throw, Wonder Girl
It's a little
against him and
squishy.
Yeah.
he'll get creamed pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Anyways, I mean, that is, I guess, our thoughts on the leaders. So, what are we expecting for the new year, 2020? What do we expect going forward? So, hey.
Well, I
Oh,
expect
okay,
next
okay,
month
yeah.
to have two characters, and then we'll have two reworks. Probably raids at the end of the month, maybe if we're lucky. I expect login bonuses, some
We'll see.
sales.
It's like business as usual or something.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. So,
Fio says Kage is now going to be known as the Prophet. So,
Daddy Profit. Anyways, so hey, what do you think?
uh, I'm a little more optimistic than I was. It's funny because if you would have asked me this 3 months ago, I would have said, you know, I don't ever expect any new content, and pretty much the best we can hope for is what we have. But now I'm a little more optimistic because the red alerts change. Really, I don't know why. That just gave me more hope because I'm like, you know what? They are serious about increasing things. And then they added those 7-day login bonuses, and I do feel like they're building up to more content. So I think this year we'll probably see, because I think raids. They went raids was a good idea in theory, but then ended up being a little bit boring. Still kind of is a little boring, but the rewards are good and the camaraderie makes it fun. So I actually kind of enjoy raids now, as sick as that sounds. And I
You
look
just like
forward to
that
it when it comes
torture.
once a month. Yeah, once a month is just right. Any more would be way too much. Um,
Every
but
other month.
most people
I'm cool with every other month. Raid.
be okay with that, but it seems like everybody wants every month. I think that's going to be the trend eventually. The biggest thing was the bugs have eaten up tons and tons and tons and tons of development time for the two coders they have in the basement. So they're going to have to. They'll have production availability. Hopefully, because it's been several months since raids have been put off. Hopefully, raids are okay. Nobody asked for any more changes to raids. Just let them be what they are, so they don't waste any more development time on them. And if we get one new, because I really don't want a lot. Like, I don't want to have to play DCL already more than I already do. So just give us like one more game mode that's fun and cooperative, and I think we'd be good. I
Right.
think we'd be good.
Yeah,
So,
the
and then
27
I feel good about the
PvP.
year.
Yeah, 27 PvP per day is enough to get me playing throughout the day. We don't need. I don't think we need that much more new content.
I mean, something PVE.
You know,
Content that's challenging. Gear 11 content. That's what I want. I want Gear 11 content. Content that makes me say, "Hey, I'm happy I took my characters level 80, Gear 11."
yeah.
Cater to Gear 10, Gear 8 for the content that you're releasing. The new content needs to be end game. Give people a reason to gear their characters.
Yeah. Now, I was thinking I'm gonna be super optimistic here. Okay, so, and maybe I'll get maybe even half of the stuff I want. That will make me feel good about the year. But new content, basically. I'm expecting either chapter 9 or 10, and or 10, I guess. So if we get even one of those chapters, that'd be great. More access to more resources, so that if an eventual Gear 12 push does come along, we'll be ready for it. Not like how Gear 11 was dropped on us, and we're kind of like, well, how do we get there? So there's that. The other thing is improvements to raids, as you guys were talking about. I would expect raids. They'd probably come up with new themes, new things to push out for raids, but just don't do that whole scarecrow man bat thing that they did before. That was a mess. That took
I
forever.
love that.
That took
I
forever.
loved
It
it.
took forever. My God. Raids frequency, like once a month is fine. Every other month I think is better, just because like I'm on the boat with Kage. I don't want to be burned out like that so much all the time. But for free to play players, I know it's a huge way to get resources. But what are you gonna do? What else is there? Then there was
Skins.
Skins, yes. Now skins, that was what has been alluded to, and they sort of tease us that they're going to sort of like, they're going to go back to that well at some point, hopefully, because
I honestly think raids have like completely. I think the problems with raids have just eaten up all of their resources.
that's right. Now the other thing here, now this is might not be that difficult to program, but I think when we were talking about Ion a long time ago, and when you think you guys were talking about it on a recent podcast, the ability to auto complete certain types of missions, like PVE missions, without actually having to go into your game. So imagine running like sort of I guess a bot or something that would run PVE for you, so you don't burn through your energy right throughout the day. Does that make sense? Like
Oh yeah, you can basically send your people out on a mission for the
exactly
day.
right,
That'd be a cool feature. That would actually be a feature I would love to see.
right. Like so, for example, you set it as like run chapter 1 or run chapter 8. I don't know. And whenever they have energy, they just
The more
go and do it.
powerful your characters are, the higher percentage are you're going to get back the loot that you send them out for.
Exactly.
So that's it. And then yeah, the other thing we mentioned this in another podcast too was having exclusive characters. That'd be a way to do an exclusive character that once you do a 12-hour mission, you get a couple shards of X character or even existing characters. It could be a way to get rare shards.
Exactly. And
It's a good idea.
The content actually wouldn't have to change because they have all those nodes already there. So you just say like, all right, so for this mission we're doing chapter 1, this mission we're doing chapter 2, and each of them would be like rewarding you with something else. And it gives you a way to make sure that your energy is not being capped off, and like you're at work, you're at school or something, just run it and then come back to it later. So that's cool. I mean, that's my idea. I don't think it would be too hard to program, but who knows? We don't want to give the two guys in the basement more work to do that they they don't already want.
The devs have been really good with listening to the players with what they want. So people were begging for red alert changes and all that stuff. They've been really good with fan service. Like people have been requesting Talia for the longest time. I got her. People were wanting Saint Walker. You Lanternheads can shut up now. So we got a lot of
Hawkman. That's the only one everybody's crying about that they haven't gotten.
Yeah, so once he gets in the game, then I think everyone will be happy.
Be physical stunner. That's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the reworks this year. I see a lot of potential, good characters out there.
Right. Alrighty. Okay. So I mean, I guess with that, we have a good idea of what we're expecting for the next year. Whether or not we'll get it, cross our fingers, I guess.
12 level 100. Yes.
So, all right. So before we wrap up the show, we're gonna end with Q&A sessions for people here live on Discord and also on YouTube. But before we do that, I'll just remind you guys, for anyone on Discord, if you have a mic set up, you can just message in the chat and say, I'd like to ask my question on air, and I'll unmute you or I'll give you talking permissions. And
if you're listening on your phone, you can just use your phone, just so you know.
That's right. And then for people on YouTube, you're gonna have to write in and I'll read your question on air. There's doors closing around me. All right, so let's see here.
Your house haunted, dude?
No, it's just my wife waking up. Let's see here. Oh yeah, sorry. The last thing to finish on before we wrap up is our announcement.
As a married man, the answer to that, Kage, is yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the announcements.
Can't imagine.
So, you're right. We're supposed to set up a calendar. I was supposed to do it in December, but couldn't get around to it yet. So we're going to set up a calendar, a Google Calendar for people to check when we're going to be streaming. Hopefully that way we're
also going to release a Kitty Little calendar as well.
She said 2021 for that.
We'll see.
Oh, damn.
Alrighty. So yeah, once we have that set up, our streaming will be a little bit more consistent, I hope. And that way you guys can see who will be streaming when throughout the month. And then, hey, it looks like you'll be on Bizarro's YouTube show in a few days, right?
Yes, we'll actually be talking about leaders. So that'll be the next couple of days. I was gone forever, so we didn't have a chance to get a schedule. We don't have a date yet, but we should be announcing one here shortly.
All right.
So if you haven't checked out Bizarro's channel, it's pretty darn good.
All right. So let's get into the end of the show. So for any of you guys who want to ask us any questions live on Discord or on YouTube, feel free to type in the chat. And if you are on Discord again, just say that you want to ask a question live on air, and I'll give you speaking permissions.
I think Tootie wants to ask a question.
Sure. What does he say? Oh, he wants to ask it live. All right. Give me a sec.
He's in.
Give me a sec. Where's Tootie? There it is. And can't find it.
While we're waiting on you to unlock 2D, LMR is asking what the top 3 worst tunes that need a rework. So I think
We voted
pretty easy.
We voted DOJ as a D tier yesterday.
I don't agree with that, but she does need a rework really bad. Ra's al Ghul desperately needs a rework. Blue Beetle desperately needs a rework.
Mr. Miracle, maybe.
Mr. Miracle desperately needs a rework.
Jay Garrick.
I mean, I don't think he needs them as bad. I
Phantom
mean,
Locker inside DP's house.
It's my wife.
The worst 3 are probably
There it is.
Raven's really bad too.
Yeah, Raven needs it. Tara, I think she needs it.
I mean, M4 makes a good point. Bat CC he's not the worst, but he really needs one. Because I want to see OP Batman really bad, and he'd be the one to do it.
All right.
Oh, TDK Batman could be.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Yeah, it took me a while to finally unlock 2D, but I think I unlocked 2D there. I think you should.
Spio, yeah, I know. Sometimes you get caught up in the new character, and then it also gets left behind quickly because stronger characters come out. Because Raven was decent when she first got reworked. She seemed decent. She wasn't great, but she seemed decent. I liked her a little more than most. But then
see Aquamoa get reworked.
He needs it worse almost than anybody.
Let's see here.
He's so bad.
Chemo.
How come I can't unmute? Hold on.
Hashtag rework Chemo.
I think it's server.
I thought you were.
There we go. All right, go.
Yeah, you.
There we go. I had server mute on.
Okay, cool. So question. For Saint Walker, obviously he's going to synergize with lanterns, Green Lanterns especially, but if I wanted to bring other non-meta tunes out of the woodwork with him, who would you suggest I bring along? Since he's got the call assist and the buff purge and all that, who would synergize with that outside of lanterns?
Yeah, who I'd bring, because I saw the boy do it, and you'll see it in the video if you watch the YouTube, it's Connor Kent. That 4-strike basic is just insane.
Does he
and you have it
with it?
That
does he get strength ups with it? No, he doesn't.
No, but if he's already got them,
okay, fair enough.
He'll attack 4 times, which is pretty awesome. And then anybody who attacks twice with their basic will attack 1,000,000 times. So Power Girl is going to be really good.
Gross.
All right.
Just punch like a maniac. Of course, Wonder Girl's going to be good because she's going to do 20% more damage passively. So, all the characters you hate already, you're going to hate them a little bit more under him, I think.
Not meta tunes, bro. No, who can I bring out of the woodwork? That's all right.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the purge, so I think Silver Banshee might be really good under him. If you're running the other characters that are going to proc, or like a Red Hood or a Talia.
What about Doomsday?
Wait, Talia steals. She doesn't proc her. Doomsday might, because that 20% extra. The problem is if you're facing other Saint Walkers, then you're going to have the same problem because they're going to be boosted 20% like normal. But if you're facing Lex or the other teams, I think some of the tankier characters like Giganta might actually survive long enough to be decent. That's another one I want to see reworked is Giganta. She's so close to being really good.
All right, cool. So again, I guess we'll get to another question here on YouTube. Thanks, Duty. I'm with you now.
Thank you.
All right, let's see here. Let's see. So, where are we right now? Whoops. I think I.
One other thing, real quick. The person I was thinking about for him was the Dr. Fate. I was actually thinking about some Dr. Fate teams under Saint Walker because you get enough. That 20% boost might be enough to keep him from being too horribly squishy, and he gives the extra shields.
Okay, cool. All right, so I have a question here from YouTube. So I think Joel, he asks, "Hi guys, I have a question. Which tunes is better? Is a better bleeder in PvP, Talia or Manta?" I wouldn't. I guess Manta over Talia, but I didn't even think Talia is that great
Bleeds.
for bleeds. Yeah.
Yeah, for bleeds, Manta is better. As a character, I prefer Talia because
Yeah, Talia's gonna get the buff stealing, and she's gonna get death immunity. And Manta only has the stamina ups to stay alive.
Yeah, but if I were to go for bleeds, I'd probably like. Well, I guess for red, I would just pick Red Hood over any of those guys. So Red Hood's like the king of bleeds.
yeah. But I think Talia, just as a character, I very rarely reach for Manta anymore because Red Hood just does everything I want Manta to do, but better. And Talia, I bring her to remove taunts and steal taunts, and I like her. I mean, she's got heal immunity too.
Yeah,
I'm more of a Talia supporter.
yeah. Like there's a lot of good bleeders out there right now, but I think Red Hood he just like outshines everybody. So what are you gonna do?
Amanda's still a very good character. I find I don't use him that often anymore.
Yeah. And all right, I guess hope that answered your question. So is there any other questions there here from Discord or from YouTube before we wrap things up? Because we're pretty good on time. I think we were like just on the like 1 hour mark.
Unlike our tier list that we just recorded, that was an hour and a half.
That's okay. No one listens past like 45 minutes anyway.
All right.
14 minutes.
All right.
14 minutes.
Well, I was waiting for the lag to catch up on YouTube. So okay, all right. I think we're okay then. So let's wrap things up there. Any last words before we wrap things up today?
4.5 minutes.
Ogre. The one question was who shot Ogre. He's still around, but he's back to work, so it's gonna be difficult because the recording time that works for everyone else is usually early, like right around now, and Ogre is like in the middle of the day. Which is very, very challenging for all the U.S. people
Yeah, he works like
that work during the day.
he basically works night shifts, so it's hard for the rest of us. So we'll try and coordinate things with Ogre as much as we can.
Yeah, this podcast was because of the holidays was difficult scheduling, and we all realized we had some availability today, so we kind of last minute put this together yesterday. So
Yeah. Alrighty, so in terms of the wrap up of the show, we'll wrap things up as we do, giving our shout outs. So shout outs to LMR 107 at the Bruce Wayne level, Fries at the Lex Luthor level, earning them topic suggestions each episode, and this shout out. Also, a reminder to you guys: if you already qualify for any of the Patreon perks that revolve around merchandising, just send us a PM on Patreon regarding your mailing address and all that stuff, because we have to fulfill that probably earlier this year. So let's get a start. We'll probably try our best to do it in January. And then what else do we have to do? Oh,
if you start sending them to us now, we'll start getting them sent out
exactly
right away. So
yeah, I think for most levels that do qualify, it's only one every year. So you just pick out what piece of merchandise on our shop that you'd like. Give us your information. We'll buy it for you and send it to you. And then I think in Elamar's case, he gets 3. So because he's rolling. And then what else?
Hype Dog had a question too. What was your question, Hype?
It says 3 lanterns. Which 3 lanterns would you put on your Saint team?
Alan Scott, Hal Jordan, Arcus.
Pretty well rounded.
Yeah.
Seem like the 3 to do.
Yeah.
Arcus is pretty colorblind, so I mean, you know.
He's my
Can't go
physical.
wrong.
He's my physical character.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else are we going to go here with? Oh, right. And for all of you who are patrons but aren't already a member of our Discord channel, make sure to join the Discord, and I'll set you up with your roles. And again, so if you guys want to be heroes like these guys and help us keep the lights on, consider supporting us over at patreon.com/WROL Broadcasts. And check out our merchandise at teespring.com/store/WROL Broadcast. Okay, so any last words, guys?
Joker wanted to know who would counter that team with. Hired gun, Deadshot. Just shoot. It's sad. The herp derp team, because there's no taunters, so you just.
Alrighty, so we'll wrap things up there then. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
All right, peace.
Hi guys, I'm out. See ya.
Peace.
All right, end the stream.